Hi, Courtney. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good, thank you. Where would you like to sit? You can make yourself comfortable.
He was good.
Okay, perfect. Did you find my office easily?
Yeah, I had a bit of a hard time at the parking lot. I feel like it was a little bit confusing and I got a little bit lost, but I figured it out, so it's okay. I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm glad you found my office. It's really difficult, especially on rainy days. The logo gets blurry.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one that had troubles at least.
Yeah, I know a few clients have complained about it, so we're trying to fix it. So hopefully next time it'll be easier for you to find. Um, would you like a mandala or a fidget toy to play with while we speak?
I'm okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
perfect. So, Courtney, I am an SCC, to be more specific, a mental health SCC. In our center, I've been working here for the past 2 years. I've graduated from LaSalle College in 2018 and I've been loving my job here ever since. But before we get started, I would like to explain my roles and responsibilities as your counselor, as well as what confidentiality is. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you know, you've been recommended to me by your family doctor. So essentially, what this is a one-on-one session that we'll do together every week for the next 8 weeks. So we'll meet for 1 hour. Um, with your authorization. So if 1 week you feel like you can't do it, then we'll just postpone it. It's really up to you. But my job essentially as your special care counselor is to provide you with guidance, support, and as well as information and resources while you navigate through your problems and while I help you set goals to eventually thrive in your life. Um, but with that being said, I just want to make something really clear that every decision, everything you make is essentially your choice. It's not mine to choose. So if at any time you want to end our meeting, feel free to do so. You don't owe me any explanation. You don't call me back saying you want another meeting. Is that something you understand?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so confidentiality is basically um, a space for you to open up honestly without the fear of judgment or criticism. And it allows you to tell me anything you want in my office without it coming out of these walls. So anything you say will be kept between you and I, unless I believe that you are a danger to yourself or others. Um, but if any situation arises where I would have to disclose some part of your information, I would ask for your permission. Is that something you understand?
Yeah, but just one question. Since my family doctor is the one that referred me, do you tell him things also? Or it's really just you and I?
It's really just you and I. I have some of your files with your doctor with what is allowed being shared, and then I will add some information to those files, but your doctor won't have access to those. I will be the only one who does.
Okay.
But if you have any other questions before we start, feel free to ask.
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay, perfect. So, what would you like to talk about today?
Uh, well, I've been on mat leave for a while now. My daughter just turned 1, so it's time to start getting back to work, and I guess I'm just feeling a little bit anxious about it all.
What makes you feel anxious about leaving your daughter alone?
Mm, I guess I just worry that something bad is gonna happen to her while I'm not there.
I see. What do you think could possibly happen when she's not with you?
What do I think could not happen, honestly? I feel like I worry about everything. There's so many things. She can choke, she can fall, or she hits her head, or if she gets hurt, or just really anything. I mean, I have no idea who these people are, and it makes me really anxious to think about.
Do you think you would feel comfortable leaving your daughter with your mom or a close friend where you would actually trust?
Yeah, but it's also just because like I know them, so I guess it's a little bit different as opposed to leaving her alone. And plus I've been just worried about the whole thing. And I was having troubles finding a $8 daycare, so I had to put her in the more expensive daycare. And I'm worried about how I'm gonna pay for things. So everything just, I'm just really stressed and anxious.
I see. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but the money aspect is also an issue. You would like to find a cheaper daycare to accommodate the needs of you and your daughter.
Yeah, that would be good, but impossible apparently.
Well, it's not impossible. There's always a solution. I'm just curious, has this been an issue before you became a mother?
No, I really never cared about anything like I cared about her before. She's the only thing I've ever thought about this in this way for, which makes it even worse because I have no idea what to do with these feelings because it's just too much.
Um, just a thought, have you taken time for yourself since giving birth?
Not really. I mean, sometimes when she naps, I'll step away, but for the most part, it's really just her. She's been
Okay.
crying a lot, and she was a pretty rough baby, so she's been time consuming, and it's been hard to find some time for myself.
I understand. Could you just describe like what a normal day would look like for you?
Well, it kind of depends. I mean, she recently just started sleeping the night, which was fantastic. So we usually wake up at around 6-ish, and then we have our breakfast together because she's starting to eat some foods and stuff, so that's fun. I try to get outside a little bit in the morning just to get some fresh air and to change our scenery a little bit because we're just inside. She takes a nap, or we both nap. We play a little bit, watch some TV, then lunch, watch some more TV, nap. We don't really have any very exciting things going on.
I understand. Um, you've talked a lot about spending time with your daughter, but does she stop you from doing things like cleaning your house? Not stopping you essentially, but more, do you sit by her side while she takes a nap, or can you move away from her and do your own things?
I feel like it's hard to move away from her. I like to stay right where she is in case something happens or if she starts crying, then I'm there to easily access her. And I just feel bad just leaving her there. So I haven't really been doing much. Sometimes when she goes to bed at nighttime, I will, but usually I fall asleep. So
Yeah. Um, has any issue occurred in the past where she was in danger or possibly a stressor that affected the way you are close to her or that you can't leave her alone?
when we were at the hospital when she was first born, she had to go to the NICU for 2, 3 days. She was born a little bit early and she's just had to stay there. So I guess that maybe has a little impact on it. I mean, it was so weird not having her there with me, and now that I have her here, I just never want her to leave.
Yeah, I understand. Being separated from your child, especially the first few days, can be very scary. But have you tried maybe stepping away for a few hours, leaving her with your mom in the past?
I tried one time, but I only lasted maybe 10 minutes, and then I ended up just turning back and coming home.
What went through your head at that moment?
Just everything bad that could happen that I wouldn't be able to stop when I wasn't there.
So, like, From what I'm understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the thought of something happening to your daughter when you're not there creates a huge mom guilt because you would feel guilty for what happened.
Pretty much, yeah. And I've never
But
really
why,
tried to do
but
anything.
why is that? If she's with your mom, um, why would that be your fault? And in most cases with little kids, it's accidents. You can look away for 1 second and then something can happen. It's usually nobody's fault. So you can't blame yourself for something that could happen in a split second.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it in that way. I've always just think that I'm her mom, so everything has to be me and my fault. So I guess that's true.
It makes sense. Would you be able to leave your daughter for maybe 15 minutes, maybe next week as an idea?
Yeah, we could try that. I feel like slow and steady would be better than too
Yeah.
many long hours at once. Baby steps.
Yeah, we'll go with your flow. You tell me if we're going too fast, if we're going too slow. Um, you tell me if I'm being a little bit repetitive, but I just want to circle back to when she takes naps. You sleep often by her side, and you really don't clean much. Have you tried anything, like any strategies to be able to cope with leaving your daughter during those naps or
Not really.
anything? Um, So, like, from what I'm seeing, you're really nervous about leaving your daughter alone, but you're not really taking the steps to like separate from that problem of being scared. So, like, potentially what you can do is wear the baby carriers and just carry her around while you clean. You could also put a baby monitor beside her. Um, if you need your mom to come over, you just ask her. But I mean, support is not offered to everyone. So, is there any support for you and your family?
Uh, my mom is a pretty big help. She does help me most of the time when I need it, so she would definitely be there if I called her.
That's great. So, from the beginning of our conversation, we talked about you struggling to leave your daughter alone, as well as the financial aspect. Is there anything you would like me to know about your money related problems?
Not really, just that it's a lot because the daycare is like 40 something dollars a day, so it's going to cost a lot to send her there every month. And my job doesn't pay a crazy amount, so I'm a little bit worried about just how I'm going to be able to get by with everything. But I'm hoping I can find her a spot in a cheaper one at some point. But for now, it's going to kind of just have to do the best I can, I guess.
That's always the best you can give to a child. I'm just throwing this out there. Do you think you would feel comfortable leaving your daughter with a private daycare, like just in a small house with like 3 or 4 kids, which would be potentially an alternative for a cheaper route?
Maybe. I've never really thought about that before, just because it seems weird, but I could probably think about it. I mean, if it's going to help and she's going to be well taken care of, I guess that's all that matters.
Perfect. So we're running out of time. I just want to make sure that you don't have any questions before we leave.
Not really. I feel like maybe next time we can try and talk a little bit more about things to help me to be able to not spend as much time next to her because I would like to get back into the groove of like baking and keeping my house clean and just into a normal routine. But I think that starting with just the 15 minutes is good for this week.
Perfect. So we talked about many things, but the main goal you want to focus on is being able to find strategies to cope with leaving your daughter alone for, it could just be even 15 minutes. It could be five, as long as you see improvement in yourself and you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm glad you feel excited to move forward, and I'm excited to work with you. If you don't have any questions before next week, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Okay. And if I do have questions, can I email you or?
Oh yeah, emails, it's not the best because it's written and you can't keep track of your email. So it's better if you contact me directly on my phone number. Just send me a message. But if it's an emergency, I would prefer you don't call me because I can't do anything in the moment. Preferably you could call emergencies, which would be better because in those moments, unfortunately, I can't do much.
Okay. That's good.
I'll see you next Wednesday.